Hello Cherries fans and welcome to the Fulham preview this Friday. It's me, Sam Davis.
It's me, Tom Jordan.
And it's me, Tigz.
I suppose, guys, we should probably raise a beer and give a toast to Fulham. I know you don't want to, but congratulations.
Congratulations, Fulham.
Congratulations.
Hopefully
why
we'll
are we
join you
chinking?
soon.
I don't know why we're
I
chinking.
got conned into that. I didn't know.
Yeah, we'll join them soon.
Yeah, congratulations. They have been superb this season, haven't they, Tom? And with a striker that's got over 40 goals, I mean, that certainly helps your promotion bid, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, he's got more goals than some teams in our division. I think we've only got 50 more than him as a team, haven't we? I mean, it's outrageous levels. So yeah, you got to give credit to Mitrovic. We always knew he was a good player, but this is different level, and he's broke a record, hasn't he, in the Championship? So yeah, if you've got someone like that, you're always going to get promoted. So credit to him, I suppose.
You can probably hear the back of the net chopper in the background. I mean, we've got some kind of footage up high, but yeah, hopefully that helicopter will go away in a minute. We have waited as long as we can, but this is all about the game tomorrow at Dean Court. Hopefully we'll have weather like this, but who knows? And it's Scott Parker against his former club. Little bit of spice, Tigz, and we've had our own internal discussions about Scott Parker this season, and they've been watched avidly by many a Fulham fan, it seems.
Yeah, we've got a nice sort of Fulham following of our videos, which is great. There will undoubtedly be a comment being typed at this second in response to that. But that's great. Do you know what I mean? We accept all visitors to this channel, and we appreciate the comments. And it's been really interesting following their perspective of who Scott Parker is to them, and the time that he spent with them, and kind of putting the two up against each other, and our experiences and their experiences. And you know, they do say begrudgingly they think that Scott Parker will get us promoted. So I hope they're right on that one.
Absolutely. So on this show, it's a slightly different type of preview because Scott Parker will be the focus. And as much as his tactics have been questioned by us on social media, he also should probably deserve some praise as well. So first things first, we need to talk about the last match, our 3-0 win over Coventry, Tom.
Yep.
I think a lot of us would go into it not really knowing what to expect.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. You go into it a bit unknown at the moment with the results we've had. It's so mad, isn't it? We go and win that game as we did, and then you go, 3 clean sheets on a bounce. You know, it changes the perspective so much, whereas we had 3 games without a goal and barely a shot on target. But I've said it before, I think it was very reminiscent of the Huddersfield game, a team that were going to be front foot and play at us, and we're okay at that. We can catch teams on the break. We don't need to have all the ball. We've got the armoury to go and hurt teams, and that's what we did. I think we struggle more with that low block that we spoke about loads of times, but yeah, credit, we made some changes and it did work. It did work, and yeah, we weren't brilliant in terms of, you know, we scored every shot we had on target, but we were clinical, and that was the main thing, mate. We deserved the win on the day. It was a tough game, potential banana skin, but now you look at it and go, Sheffield United and Coventry away, 4 points. It's not bad, is it?
Yeah, I'll take that all day long. It's interesting. You said about not really knowing what to expect, and you're kind of referring to how the team will turn up, how they will play. But I think this is the first game where I've felt for quite a while that the team lineup, the shape, is not what I expected.
Yeah, I agree.
Which makes me wonder maybe if we're starting to tweak things in a different way. Yeah. There was a period of time before where things weren't going very well. Parker got a touchline ban, and viewing the game from a different perspective, he noticed some things he didn't like, and then there was a sudden change, a sudden resurgence, a better style of football. Yeah. And I just wonder if there's a little element of this, 3-0 nils in a row. Was there a sort of a thing, I've got to change something for this game? And he definitely did try it, and he tried throughout the game, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Jacob Tanswell called it a masterful managerial display, and also the Coventry boss Mark Robbins was quoted as saying the change that Scott made at half-time was really clever. That's what we'd have done, playing on the counter-attack. They didn't give us any space. Because of their quality, we're chasing it, and no two ways about it. But I think Coventry, Tom, they do deserve a lot of praise, though. And we've always played on these fine margins all season, and that first half completely underlined that, because the scoreline could have been very different to what it was. Coventry, even looking at the mini highlights packages, I think we had 2 shots. Yeah. We scored them both. Yeah. They had a number of chances and failed to convert. We got Mark Travers to thank for that,
as always.
But it could have gone very differently.
Yeah, no, it could have, absolutely. They were the better side in the first half, but we were clinical, as you say. I think Scott, we talk a lot about kind of changes and things, and maybe recently that haven't worked. deserves credit because second half, you're 2-0 up. It's quite easy to go, forget about all that and go, well, we're 2-0 up, don't he check? But he still changed things because he saw that they were having too much control and they were getting in too easily. So he did start changing things through the game. And even when we got the third, and you think normally at 3-0 you're not going to change too much, but we did. So credit to him, we made a few little tweaks to try and counteract the fact that they were getting on top in certain areas. But yeah, Coventry are a good side. They play good football. They play with no fear. They're very attacking. And yeah, they did leave the door open, so to speak. But yeah, they'll be kicking themselves. They should have taken one of their chances. But Mark Travers in goal, mate. What a keeper. He's a joke. He's outrageous. How good he's been this season. And how many, we talk about Dom nearing 30 goals, but how many games has Mark Travers gained as points? It's countless, isn't it?
Absolutely. So, Fulham fans who are maybe new to this channel and might be watching, for those fans, could you maybe, Tigz, explain what Bournemouth fans have been feeling about Parker in a nutshell? Because there are various phrases you might bring out. Handbrake on.
Well, I think it's fair to look at the season as a whole, and we had a fantastic run at the beginning of the season where Parker's hand was kind of forced in terms of the personnel that he had available to him, and he had to play a lot of our kids. We were able to play a style of football that was progressive. It did feel a little bit dicey at times, but nevertheless we were getting good results. And we were very, very happy with that style of football and that way because it was quite reminiscent to what we'd been used to. But at the same time, it felt quite fresh, and there was like this real good feeling,
youngsters
feel good feeling. Youngsters coming through. Everything's quite attacking, lots of goals, and then it began to be a little bit like you said, Sam, handbrake on, and I think. We'd had such a good start, we'd given ourselves such a strong position. It almost felt to me that a decision was made, let's not lose. And as Bournemouth fans, and anyone else watching this who's not a Bournemouth or Fulham fan, probably scratching their heads at second in the league, what we talked about. As a diet, we've talked about this before, football, it was never let's not lose, let's try and win. And so let's not lose has been, I think, kind of a theme. But then when you talk to Parker and you talk to people and you read things like Jacob Tanswell, like you said, they're talking about how good this is as a style of football that will get you sustained improvement without it being exciting necessarily. And that's the thing. It's not been exciting, but if we carry on the way we are, we're getting promoted, undoubtedly. And it's like Tom always says, remit.
Yeah.
One thing about, and I hate to bring up his name because I always do on most shows, with Eddie Howe, obviously he proved himself over a sustained period of time. So it always felt like he had more credit in the bank. So that when we did lose 4-0, 5-0 or whatever, it was okay because he's done so much to get us to the position where we are. Whereas with Scott Parker, Tom, I kind of sense that we've been almost living emotionally hand to mouth because there are some games where we've been praising him, saying that was brilliant, and other games where we've been maybe fickly saying, oh my goodness, he's got it wrong, that kind of thing. It's fine margins on the pitch, but it seems to have been fine margins with regards to how fans feel about him as well. But overall, I do get the sense if you're going to grade it in a sort of old school style, it's definitely a B. It's not a C. It's not right down the middle. I think it is a B.
Yeah, you passed. You like to think so, but we're passed. I think like Tigz alluded to there, that we started the season with so many youngsters, and so we were down to the bare bones, and we were unbeaten. And then when we had the players, we can look at all this quality we're now bringing in, and then suddenly we weren't as good. So it was almost quite strange for us to see, really. And Tigz is right. It feels a very much like don't lose approach. I remember when Fulham fans, I'm sure, will tell us that. I always remember when they got relegated with Parker. They had loads of games in hand. I think it was on Newcastle at the time, and everyone was like, "Well, Fulham will be fine because look at all these games in hand they've got, and they're only a few points off." But then they didn't go for teams, and they tried not to lose, and it ended up sending them down. So, yeah, there's certain bits that confuse us as a fan base, I think, with the quality and the calibre of players we've got. Having said that, there's been certain games, Coventry's one of them, where you think he's shown he's an intelligent manager. And I think Saturday was it Saturday? No, it was Bank Holiday Monday. It confused me even more because I thought, well, look, he knows what he's done. Look at that. That's so clever. He's changed it. He's put Jamal up front, who hasn't been playing. It's probably one of his first times he started up front, score straight away. makes changes during the game. We win 3-0 away from home, and you think that's what you know you can do. So it's that's why it confuses us even more, I think.
But despite the fact he has been clever, there are a pocket of supporters that will say exactly the same as you. Like, why didn't you do that before? And they're still not overly convinced by him. It is very strange. And look, we've criticised him and we've praised him throughout the season, but for some fans, they're very pro Parker, which is absolutely brilliant. But it's almost like we can't criticise until the end of football. When can we have our verdict? Should we be basing it on the 46 games? Maybe we should.
I think the problem is this, and I've discussed this with lots of different people. I discussed this with a fan the other day who travels an awfully long way to come to games. And his perspective on football is this: I come all this way to watch games. Despite that, all I really care about is if we're in the Premier League next season. Right? Now, the problem is there are other fans who say, well, do you know what? I don't care what level of football we're playing in. I just want to be entertained.
Yep.
And then there's probably where we all fall in, I hope, anyway, most people do, is a bit of both.
Yeah.
In that I'd love to be able to go to football and enjoy my football. And that's a frustration when I can't. But I do accept that we need Premier League football, otherwise this football club, we go back to League One pretty quick.
Yeah, exactly what I think.
I think recently as well, I feel like at the start of the season, if you actually went back, there were certain games we weren't that good and we were winning, say, 1-0, for example, going out. And we weren't moaning then because we understand that, okay, we need to get Premier League football and we're getting the job done. Recently, we've been playing a dull style, being really boring to watch and not winning.
Yeah.
And that's the difference. Is if you can't criticise them, when can you? When the football wasn't good but we were winning, you go, we're getting the job done. But now we're not. Well, I say very recently. You know what I mean? Then 3 games we didn't score a goal and we didn't get any wins. So I think that's where you start criticising. I'm with Tigz. I'm kind of that happy medium, trying to get the balance. And we said this on the last show, didn't we? That if you're a fan that just wants Premier League football, then I totally understand why you're happy, because it looks like we should get that.
Yeah.
If you're a fan that wants to see good football, I can understand why you're unhappy. Everyone's got a different reason for going to the football and watching the football and why they go. So, yeah, I don't think anyone's right or wrong in this situation. But I think there has got to be there's pros and cons to all of it. And I just feel a little bit, I think it's probably a personal thing. I feel like last season, I was really trying to back Jason because he was a legend of the football club and I got so much grief. And I'm thinking about it, I'm going, was he any worse in the sense that, don't get me wrong, I think Scott Parker's probably a more intelligent and better football manager. And that's why Jason Tindall's gone back in as a coach and understudy again to Eddie. But last season was a stronger league. It was 100% a stronger league because you had to get over 90 points to get promoted. I feel like mid-80s will do it this season, so that proves the point. And he never left the top 6 in a harder league and was let go quite early. And the consensus was he had to be let go. I can happily fall on my sword and go, he wasn't good enough. We had a very good squad, Dan Tuma, people like that. But that was a much stronger league. Was he that much worse? And what I'm saying is I was getting pelters for trying to support him. So I think that's where I get a little bit frustrated. But listen, if we get promoted, there's no way I'm going to go, yeah, but it was rubbish. I'll go, tick, Scott Parker, let's see how we progress now. And let's see if in the Premier League it suits us more playing that style and see what happens.
Yeah, so
we've got to be open.
Well, one thing I would say is that I don't think I don't think we've played against anyone who's taken us apart.
No, true. What's our worst defeat?
When you look at Fulham,
Really good shout.
because
Really
Fulham have won some fantastic games and they've scored lots of goals. But Fulham have also had lots of goals scored against them in some games. I can't think of a 90 minutes.
No.
I can't. I cannot think of a 90
I
minutes.
don't think we've lost a game by more than one.
Well, apart from the 2-0 at West Brom.
There you go. That'll
There you go.
probably be the worst
probably
defeat.
the worst
Yeah.
defeat of the
I
season.
can't remember.
Goals conceded was be the Derby 3-2.
Blackburn Rovers 2-0 as well.
2-0, sorry,
I
yeah.
certainly can't remember
No.
a 3-goal defeat, put it that way.
And that's because
We were always in games.
we're always in games, we're quite disciplined, we're quite regimented, and that means we're never going to get torn apart. And and that is, you've got to put that as a positive. Whether it's not like we're scoring 5, but that's still a positive. The thing is, it changes so quickly, don't it? I always remember under Eddie, like you said, he did have credit in the bank, but there were times where we all went, yeah, it's really good, but why are we so bad at the back?
Yeah.
So, you've got to get a balance.
Do you think that's what Scott Parker's probably come in and looked at the squad and thought, oh my God, the attacking flair this side's got, that'll take care of itself. As long as we shore it up at the back,
Yeah.
I agree with that.
we'll get over the line.
I feel like if I got the job as manager, which, let's not rule it out in the future, but no, if I got the job as manager, I think I would have looked at it, Dom Solanke at this level, obviously saying I bought in Ryan Christie and all these sort of players, you go, well, they're going to have enough. Let's make sure we're hard to beat because we should be fine in that area. And maybe he's done that a little bit. But Yeah, I think the problem sometimes is we're not letting the players off the leash too much, especially the wide men are more concerned about behind them than in front of them, and I think that's been frustrating sometimes. You can see that from different stats like average positions and things like that. It shows that we're a little bit conservative, and you look at Fulham's, they're very much take the game to a teams, but like we keep saying, mate, if it gets us over the line, it gets us over the line.
Yeah.
But this is right. So my fear, Tigz, and I don't know if you share this, is that I worry now when we get promoted rather than if, how we'll play in the Premier League. Is this something that he's just doing and to get us to a point, and then it's a case of like pushing on? But the word project to me indicates that we're going to be playing this style in the Premier League, and that's what concerns me, because the teams there are a different level to what we face this season, and I really worry that it could be embarrassing.
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from with that, but I think we have to, because I think ultimately that's what he's invested. That's what he's changed about our football club, isn't he? He's changed the brand of football. Yep. If he didn't want that brand of football for next season, then he shouldn't have tried to implement it this season. So in my opinion, yeah, you're right. Yeah, this is the way it will be. There will be recruitment. And you talk about what worries you, that's what worries me. Because I think if there's one area for me that I'm not completely sold on with Parker, is that we've brought a lot of players in and we've got this massive squad of players. And I don't know, because of the style of football we play, whether we play players to their strengths a lot. But then I think at the same time, I think you're right. I think Coventry's a really good example of it. If you can let your front players have a little bit of freedom, but you can shore up the rest of it, the midfield, the back, you're going to be okay. And I think you're right. I think that's the way that he's kind of looking forward. And I would imagine that the back four, because we're going to lose some players there, and we're going to, and potentially even the midfield, we're going to be looking for reinforcements, new players. Because even at fullback, you know, who's been consistently there? Zamora. That's it, really. Yeah. I mean, wherever you haven't got a consistent pair in or consistent player, that's where you're going to be looking to change things up.
Go on.
But you're saying playing players to their strengths, and you know, arguably, and I've said this a few times, it feels like on occasions the flair's almost being coached out of our players. All right, say if that wasn't the case, how many goals would have Dom Solanke scored? Because you know what he's on at the moment, 27 for the season.
But no one's
still a decent amount. Should he be on Mitrovic levels or?
No manager's got 20 goals a season out of Dom Solanke before. So, you know, he's got to have credit for that. I think, I don't want to be too contradictory either. I remember when we were talking about kind of that new manager, because it was very alien to us because of Eddie, and when Jason went. And I was definitely someone, and still am, someone that wanted to see long-term, a kind of a process, a project. I didn't want no respect to these guys, but a Roy Hodgson, a Nigel Pearson. I didn't want that. It's too short term. So I can't then criticise that we're playing a certain brand of football, because that is long term thinking. I do like that. And weirdly, if we went into the Premier League, or if we stay in the Championship, if we started changing our system, I'd go, even if I liked it, I'd go, well, that's a bit weird, because you've come in with a certain blueprint. Yeah. And managers these days have to go in and show their presentation and say, this is how I want my team going forward. So we ain't changing. Having said that, I think, I've said it on a few shows, we're better against the better teams. Yeah. And our style of football, I think it will work more against Fulham in the game coming up. I would always get this style of football against a team like Fulham, against Premier League teams. It's been when we're playing this style of football at home to Peterborough. Yeah. No disrespect to Peterborough. Yeah, no, but them sort of teams, that's what's confused me. So going to the Premier League, I weirdly think I get it more if you're playing that way, because we're not going to have the players. The thing this season is we can afford to go toe-to-toe with teams and have too much because we've got better players. And we're almost like adapting to them, and I think that's a bit weird. They should be worried about us more. I get it against a team like Fulham, and I think this game, I said it before, we played Sheffield United twice, haven't lost. QPR twice, done a double. You know, we played Fulham obviously once, didn't lose. We struggled. Peterborough didn't win. Hull didn't win. You know, I think this style of playing does suit playing better teams. So I don't think he'll change it, and it might even weirdly work. And if it does, then you go, you know what, it wasn't that enjoyable in the Championship, but he knew how to get us up, and then we're making it hard for teams in the Premier League. He knew what he was doing. Yeah. But right now, we're just going on the eye test, we're going on what we're seeing, and we're just talking about it. And it has been very much, especially at home, I would say, very, very dull. And that's all we're saying. It is, I can't lie and say I've been enjoying it. It's been really, really frustrating.
So really what we're saying is, it's been dull, but it's had to be dull to develop the way that he wants us to play next season. If he chopped and changed each week, if he said, right, now we're going against Peterborough, let's go 4-4-2 and go all out, then what's that doing for the
We'd
players?
go, he don't know what he's doing.
Yeah, exactly. So it's about building something consistent.
Yeah.
I suppose. It's interesting what you said, Sam, about Solanke getting more goals. I don't know if he would, and the reason for that is this. Under previous regimes, under previous managers and the team that we've had, we've got goals from all over the pitch.
Yeah.
What I'm seeing now is that we don't get goals from all over the pitch, do we?
No.
But we've got goals from 2 players mainly.
Yeah.
And it's quite central. So I think if you did let the shackles off, yeah, you would get goals from different places, but I don't think that's the plan. No. I think that will play into recruitment as well.
Yeah, because the worry for me, thinking about that, because I agree with you, is you've probably realistically got to take 15 goals away from Dom if we're in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Potentially. Well, then we're never staying up if we only got that many goals. So there will have to be, like you say, recruitment will be key. And we still haven't seen Kiefer Moore. We don't know what he can offer. But yeah, I agree with you. I think if you take shackles off, you might get some more goals elsewhere, but it might take a bit away from Dom. So. And he's done the business, hasn't he? So maybe that was Scott's plan all along.
So let's talk about the Coventry match in particular then, because I feel as though Scott does deserve some praise for the tweaks he made. I mean, when you saw the team line up, Tom, Jamal Lowe being included, the way they put their team out, you're sort of thinking it could be one of 3 or 4 different formations.
I actually, initially, I think I said it on the vlog, I thought, is Christie in the billing role and Lowe's wide?
Because he's so stubborn with the formation.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So credit to him. And whether that was to try and surprise Coventry, whether that was, like we've all been saying, we have not scored in 3. I need to offer something different. Whether it was Billing needs a rest, I know Dom can go a bit deeper, because Dom was a bit deeper. But I did expect Christie to go inside and Lowe to play wide. So yeah, credit to Scott, it worked, and he knew if that didn't work, everyone's going, "What are you doing?" So fair play to him for that. And yeah, there were tweaks throughout the game, weren't there, that we'll come on to, which was impressive for me. I think there's as we mentioned, we were winning that game, and he still thought, "I'm not happy with this."
Yeah.
And he changed bits and bobs, and I think he loves the fact we were just briefly talking. I think he loves the fact that Smith offers that versatility as well, and he trusts him. I mean, when would we ever said Smith would have had a moment in the game where he's right centre half? But he just trusts him, and I think we all forget how much experience Adam Smith's got. That was his 300th Bournemouth game, and he's got a lot of experience, and he showed that, I think, particularly in that second half.
There was, even within that first half, Lowe was pushing out wide, Christie was moving into the Billing role, which allowed Solanke to push up. There were so many little tweaks, but for the first sort of half an hour of the game, Coventry looked really threatening, didn't they?
They did,
and they seemed to expose some weaknesses there. They seem to be picking up these little pockets and creating a number of chances, though, didn't they?
They did. I don't think they got in behind too much, but they did create bits and bobs.
There was once where they did, but the angle was so tight, they was never going to score from it, to be honest.
Yeah, they were playing well, and they were a team full of confidence, and you could see that. But yeah, we made little tweaks that I think were clever during the game. I think what we did well with Dom in particular as well. I think we spoke to a few Coventry fans before the game, and they were saying how influential Hamer is in that deep line role, that deep line playmaker role. And part of me wonders, if he drops Dom a little bit deeper, he's virtually on Hamer, and then Hamer can't do his normal game because he's worried, I've got Dom Solanke floating around me here. And I think that almost worked a little, because they would have been planning their centre-halves to be up against Dom Solanke. That's all they would have been planning for. And I think suddenly making Dom a little bit deeper and giving them something else to worry about, I thought on transitions really freaked them out a little bit. They didn't really know what to do defensively. So,
well, if the fact that we didn't know what we were doing.
How are they going to know? But throughout the game, like I say, we made little tweaks, and Coventry were a good side, and we managed to control it. And we didn't concede a goal against a team that we are saying were very front foot and full of confidence. So.
Well, one thing that I was really pleased to see, Tigz, was Adam Smith bombing on down that left flank, something that I feel as though sometimes he never really does. He always cuts back onto his right foot. And that didn't get the best out of Todd Cantwell, but I don't know whether it's the fusion he had with Jayden Anthony, but it just worked. And nice little back heel from Anthony, knew that Smith was running. And then when he's in that position, you're thinking, what's he going to do? Is he going to cut back on his right? He used his left.
He used his left foot, which is
wow. And I've said this on Twitter. You've probably seen it already, but that technique for Jamal Lowe's header.
What a header!
It was because he had to take a step back, and then he had to arch his back, and then the sort of neck muscles. To generate that much power, and it always looks better when it's crossbarring in as well. Really good start for us, and I was really pleased with that goal.
Yeah, a really, really good goal. And you say, almost unexpected. We've not scored many goals like that, and I think a lot of people, actually, because we were quite a way back, you couldn't really see necessarily who the goal scorer was. A few people thought it might be Lerma, because it was a kind of place that he would turn up. Oh wow, really? But no, an incredible goal, really. To see Smith on his left foot. Smith had a really interesting game. Like for me, he's had the most interesting game. The way that him and Parker have got this synergy now, and that he's allowing him, as Tom said, to move all the way around the pitch, do different jobs.
Yeah.
It's absolutely brilliant. And I think defensively, he had a bit of a hard time in that first half, but then offensively, he could just get forward like that. It was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, and that's what Scott alluded to, is the fact that we were struggling with, I think it was Kane down that right side. He was getting a lot of joy, and that's why he tweaked things about. And Jane Anthony goes so unsung in my opinion, because in that second half, he just ran with him every time and didn't let him in at all. And I think what Scott deserves credit for is we've said a lot about in that Middlesbrough game. It did make sense to me that we've put Smith at left back, kind of get it, and then playing Todd Cantwell. There's no width; it was so narrow. And what this done is, to his credit, is he went, that didn't work. I need width out there. Put Jane Anthony out there. I looked at the average position stuff. Smith's so narrow because he knows we've got the width in Jane Anthony, and that didn't work against Borough. So yeah, credit to Scott for seeing that problem that didn't work and changing it up. And we still have that natural width for Jaden, who I think goes so under the radar. It's unreal.
Yeah.
I experienced certain highs and lows during that first half.
Jamal lows.
Jamal lows. There were some. I thought defensively we didn't start off great. I thought Lloyd Kelly's distribution wasn't particularly great. He more than made up for it in the second half. More than made up for it. Some moments that I really loved was like Jefferson Lerma throwing his body on the line to block a shot, and he chested out. I know you all love that. Absolute workhorse. Thought he did really well. And then the second goal, which came from Coventry City's defender, sort of almost. He sort of rashly tried to clear the ball, found Lerma, who just played it into a bit of space where Solanke could run onto, and then he took him one way, then the other, and then whether the shot was going in, I don't know.
Very fortunate.
Yeah, fell for him really nicely. But talk about picking and choosing your moments.
What a time to get a goal though.
Yeah.
Not for me because I missed it.
You missed it, yeah.
But great time to get a goal. Like I say, we weren't that convincing, but to go to a 2-goal lead right on half time was bang on. I think they said in the post-match chat with Scott that all 3 goals were at such good times early in the game, right on half time, straight after half time.
Yeah.
Great times to score goals. And it was that press, and we were panicking them a little bit, and like I say, Lerma picked it up, played the ball in, and Dom does that, doesn't he? When he's running down defenders, they instantly back off because they think, they know who this is. And it gave him a little bit of room to take the shot on, and it was a fortunate finish that happens. But he took it on, didn't he? So that was the main thing. But yeah, I thought that was just such. I didn't expect us to be 2-0 up when I was watching that first half. No. And
you thought it was 1-1, didn't you?
I did think it was 1-1. It's really hard when you're underneath, because you think, well, that sounds loud, so it's probably us because I'm in the away end. But they've got more fans, so maybe it is loud. Really hard to work out. But normally every time I do that, I end up singing the Dom Solanke. He's the one. I reckon I'm going to work it out. But the goal's right on our time, they're nearly always Dom.
Yeah.
Because I normally know it's a Bournemouth player, a Bournemouth goal, because I hear the Dom Solanke chant nearly every time. Love it.
I think 10 minutes either side of half time, surely. Dom, I don't know, he must be in double figures.
He's got a lot of that.
We'll check out that stat at some point. I say that, we won't. The second half, Tigz, saw a few tweaks.
Yeah. I mean, that's constant tweaking, really. Like, Tom was spot on. I mean, some managers, they spend all week working on a plan, and to be honest, they're quite bloody minded. That's the plan. We've worked on it a week. Let's stick with it. Parker can be like that, but then Parker can be like that. Look, he was at the Coventry game where he just constantly was changing things, and people who were around him and could hear him, some journalists were saying he was constantly shouting new instructions to change where players were and move people around. And I don't know what brings that on. I don't know how some games he can see differently to others. I guess we do as well when we watch them. We can see these things differently. But yeah, the constant tweaks really work. Start the second half, it was like 3 at the back, Smith at right centre half, wasn't he? And it was very different formation. It took me a little while to work it out. Yeah,
it did took me the same, but I think I was trying to think about that because, like Tigz said, there's certain games you think, well, why isn't he changing it? But I looked at it and go, as fans, maybe sometimes, particularly in them home games, we think this is so dull. Why is he not changing it? But I think Scott thinks we've got control because when we think it's dull, we've always got the ball, haven't we? And we're just knocking it around. And I think he thinks we're in full control here.
Yeah.
But against Coventry, They were in control. They had the ball, so we thought, I've got to change something.
Good
And
point.
it's all about, in my opinion, to gain control of the football match.
Yeah.
And when he made the tweak, suddenly then we were allaying, weren't we? Because we had all the ball.
Yeah.
And you're thinking that's what he wanted. He wanted control of the football match, and he got that with the changes he made. They were surprising changes, but they worked, and it's a gamble because if he goes and puts, like we were saying then, Smith at right centre back, and we can see 2 goals, everyone's going, what is he doing? Talk about overthinking it. So fair play.
It's so strange because I did enjoy the first half. I enjoyed the highs of the first half, but overall, I enjoyed the second half more.
Yeah.
Because we did control it. And there's me moaning in previous shows about all this control, what's the
But
point?
when you got 2-0 head start, you wanted the control.
It was purposeful control. Now, answer me this, Tigz. Do you think he had one eye on the Fulham game thinking, well, this is probably what we're going to do. Should we just look, we're 2-0 up, we've got a cushion. We're not going to blow a 2-0 lead. We haven't all this season, I don't think. Do you think that he's kind of thinking, let's just prep now for the next 45 minutes and use this almost as a training drill for how we might play against Fulham? Do you think we could go straight at the back?
I definitely do. And then there's another reason for that as well, in that obviously Mepham came on and he played rather well. And after the game,
I love maps.
there was an article in the Daily Echo about Mepham, and Parker says something along the lines of, he would have laughed if I told him he was playing.
Yeah.
And he built him up. He's really built him up with the comments that he's made about Mepham, which makes me think that if Mepham doesn't play, doesn't have a point, some kind of moment to play in the next game, that's like a really weird. Like, oh, you were brilliant. I think you're amazing. By the way, you ain't going to play the next game.
Yeah, you're not in the squad.
Not in the squad. Bring Gary Cahill back in. So yeah, I do think there's a chance that we might change shape to that.
And I think we've spoke a lot about that start of the season where we are forced into things. If we gain promotion, Chris Mepham's got to be one of the unsung heroes for me, because I think every time he's played, he's been pretty good.
Yeah.
And we were talking off air, like the way he plays as a centre half, he's always going to make mistakes. We saw that last season against Brentford in the playoffs.
Yeah.
He's always going to make errors because he takes more risks. But as soon as he come on, his first touch always in front of him, and we're getting us up the pitch every single time. And I think Meps is more suited to a 3 at the back, because you've got that sweeper covering him when he, because potentially he's a little bit more risky for a centre half. He's probably more modern day centre half actually.
I'm not sure what the stats say, but it feels like in the last few years he's played more international football than club football.
He probably has. I think he's
Minutes, maybe, yeah.
Yeah, probably has done. Like you say, really weird, but it happens.
Fair for him.
I'm picking you up because you'll be anal about it otherwise. We have let a 2-goal lead slip a few times, by the way. Blackpool, Coventry, both at home. We were 2-0 up.
Yeah, good point.
But I think a good point to make is quite quickly in that second half we got the third.
Yeah.
So it was almost, them tweaks almost come at 3-0, didn't they? Really,
Yeah,
I felt like they did. But like I say, I think
That's what I meant.
that's what you meant. That's what I'm saying. I think you just But no, the tweaks were incredible, and I looked at some average positions and stuff, and the way it changed in that second half was really interesting, and he was definitely trying to get control in the football match, and it definitely worked. So deserves credit for that, and I think the defence, Kelly in particular, looked a lot more comfortable when we made them changes.
Yeah, there was a really
He's struggling
interesting-
for confidence, isn't he?
He is struggling for confidence. I think you play these. I think that is a thing I do actually like about Parker, is that he plays players back into confidence. I know Billings sometimes can be a little bit, he's when he's having a bad spell. But
That's the first time he was dropped all
That is
season.
the first time he's dropped all season. So I think he's been given a good chance, isn't he, to play back into his best. I found a statistic about Lloyd Kelly in that as Championship defenders go, centre halves go, he is one of the best, if not the best, at coming out with the ball and winning headers. Yeah. So as a combination,
Which is mad, isn't it?
he's right up there. So I know he's come into a little bit of stick recently, but when you look about him over the season, he has been consistently very good.
Yeah, and you and I were talking before this, weren't we, about how I wonder if now with Nat Phillips, no disrespect to Nat Phillips, but he's so much more inexperienced than Gary Cahill, most players are. And at that start of the season, I felt Kelly was so good at that because Cahill could go and do the doggy work. Most teams play one up front. He'd go do that, and Kelly very good at sweeping up behind, and bringing the ball out and being that sort of player. And now I wonder if there's that. I've got Nat Phillips next to me. I maybe need to go in sometimes.
Yeah, I do agree.
And I think it's confused the balance slightly as centre half. But yeah, Kelly gets a lot of stick. And I said to you, didn't I, that what worries me sometimes is I looked, and when you see like possession lost as a stat in centre half, so I always think, well, you look at that, take that with a pinch of salt, because if players are trying to play out from the back, they're going to lose it sometimes.
Yeah.
but he lost the ball over 20 times, whereas his partner, Nat Phillips, lost the ball 5 times.
Okay.
And that, to me, trying not to put too much stick on Lloyd Kelly, is making me think he's getting too much responsibility as well.
Agreed. There's
too much relied on Kelly to make the killer pass, whereas Nat Phillips said, just play it to Lloyd. It's so much easier for Nat, whereas Lloyd's been given... I feel like he's been given, right, you've got a left-back who's not a left-back, you've got a centre-half next to you who's inexperienced, but you've got to do everything.
And you're the captain.
And you're the skipper.
Yeah.
And I just feel like that's weighing on him a little bit because, I'm not being funny, he's a bloody good footballer, Lloyd Kelly. It's just not happening for him at the moment. I think it was very clever from Scott Parker to say after the game how good Lloyd Kelly's been.
Yeah.
Play him into confidence. We need him. And he's...
And we echo that.
Oh, absolutely. And I've never said Lloyd Kelly's not a very good footballer because he's a bloody good footballer. He's just going for a patch at the moment. And I think that is probably to do with the partnership of him and Nat, which is... Centre-half partnerships don't change much during a season, but for us, it has changed so much.
And 12 months ago, he was our... Well, is he our first choice or isn't he it was our second choice left-back? We weren't even sure 12 months ago.
Exactly, and last time we played Fulham,
That's who he
we
was.
had Gary Cahill and Steve Cook at centre-half. Neither of them, we know one of them won't be, neither of them might not be in the squad for the next time we play Fulham.
That's crazy.
So with the third goal, of course, the long ball, and then Dom Solanke did really well. I mean, I think it was the defender who won it, but it fell to Jamal Lowe. And Dom Solanke, if you look at his work rate, unbelievable. He timed that run so well. And then Jamal Lowe, fed to I wasn't sure what Christie was going to do, but as soon as he saw Dom making that run in front of him, he couldn't not play him in.
He could shoot.
Touch him. Yeah, he could shoot. But, so I'll talk about that. And then, Dom Solanke found the finish, and Bournemouth, there weren't many chances for Cov, that save that Travers made. Apart from that, it's few and far between. But thoroughly deserved 3-0 win. We've got the arrival of Fulham, and this is the bit the Fulham fans are going to be interested in. All right, mate. Fulham, what are you worried about? Who are you worried about?
They've got this player, I don't know if you've heard about him. He's called Mitrovic, right? He looks like a bit of a handful.
Apparently, their squad's been on the beers all of the night of their promotion.
So they should be.
And maybe, I'm praying that they were on the lash for the subsequent nights as well. Maybe they'll...
It depends how you look at it. We know they've got promotion now. Is that a good thing or is it a bad thing? We'll only find out after the game. Because I think on one hand you can go, well, they've already gained it now. They got nothing to lose. They're desperate to beat Scott Parker to the title. They're going to play with no fear and wipe the floor of us. And there's another thought process is they've got the job done. They're all going to go and just chill out a little bit and we can take advantage. Who knows? We'll only find out after the game. But I mean, in terms of quality they've got, we obviously know Mitrovic. We know Harry Wilson. I mean, we didn't see it for us, but we know he's got the numbers. He's in the free, and he with Dom and Mitrovic for Player of the Season in the Championship. He's a very good player, very good at set pieces. I think we've got to watch out for that because I think at the Fulham game it was the centre half who scored a header, wasn't it, from a corner late on because they've got some big lads as well, and obviously Mitrovic's going in the air, and Harry Wilson's got a good dead ball on him. Carvalho, Cabano, they're where they are for a reason. They've got some really good players. Really intrigued to see how we set up because we were talking and beforehand when we played Fulham at their place, where I thought we were very good. It was a set piece that they scored. Yeah. We nearly won that game and we got a good point, and we played a 4-4-2 diamond for the only time this season. Really interesting. I feel like we'll mix it up a little bit.
That brings me on. To reminding you of what that night was like, and all the beers were flying in the concourse. It was a great night.
The beer is fucking flying around. The beer is fucking flying. What happened? What the fuck happened? Straight from the kickoff. Dom Solanke. Dom Solanke. No way! Oh my God! How easy was that? Fucking hell! Fucking hell!
presenting space. We are presenting space. Go.
Fulham have won the FA Cup. And you know what? You could see it absolutely coming. We said it on here. The family stand are on their feet with their clackers. It's funny how goals change games, and look, now we might actually give it a go, or will we just do exactly the same? I bloody hope not. What a night! What a night, Tigz! What a night!
What a night! I mean, what a night!
It was a relatively late equaliser for Fulham. I thought a fair reflection of the game.
It was a game of control. I think that was the plan. I think it's really interesting because this reverse fixture, obviously things were very different. We're at a very different point of the season. How we approach this game will tell us a lot about Scott Parker's mindset.
Yeah.
So if Scott Parker's mindset is, we need to get promotion as quick as we can, preferably before the Forest game, then he will play a certain way, and he'll probably be happy with a draw.
Yep.
But if Scott Parker's thinking, this is our only chance to make a run for the title, which in my opinion it is, because if Fulham beat us,
that's done.
It's done.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty much, it's going to be hard doing anyway, because we have to have a lot of results going in our favour. But, we can close the gap to something that is actually the same sort of gap that we've got on Forest.
The most annoying thing is if we want to win the title, we need them to lose to Forest, but we don't want them to lose to Forest. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's very difficult.
I feel as though Scott Parker, on the outside, sometimes he can remain very composed, but I could tell that when we scored that goal after half-time at Craven Cottage, he absolutely loved it, and he properly went for it.
I think the fact that was definitely a training ground move as well.
Yeah.
By the way, another Dom Solanke goal I missed.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was that training from kick-off, unbelievable. But yeah, it will be, as Tigz said, it'd be really interesting to see, and this is one of them games, if we play a little bit more pragmatic and conservative, I'd get it more. It's a difficult one. It's probably the only game in the league that I feel if we went toe-to-toe with Fulham, we might lose.
Yeah, agreed.
So I would get it. I'm really, really looking forward to seeing what the team is, because I think we might mix it up.
Yeah.
I genuinely think we might go 3 at the back.
Well, on screen now is Tom's pick for the side. Let us know what you think. Do you agree? Do you disagree? We'd love to know, because I think this is we've talked about certain matches this season where it could be the most intriguing team pick. I think this one is probably the one, given how we finished against Coventry. Do you think he could go 3 at the back? Let us know in the comments. That's what Tom thinks on screen right now, and Dom Solanke being up front, mate. I can't believe you went for the obvious with that. Mark Travers in goal.
Oh no, I didn't. I didn't think so. Maybe we'll see something different at the end of the season, but hopefully Dom can play every game. That'd be really nice if he starts every game. But
let us know what you think about that, and if you're looking for the team news, well, that is now at the bottom of your screen there. So that is the latest from yesterday's press conference with Scott Parker, giving all the info on who is available and who is not. It's good to hear that certain players are coming back, playing on the grass a little bit more. Whether they'll be involved, I don't know. You sort of wonder if players are, ready to play and promotions confirmed by, say, Millwall. Would they maybe get a few minutes, or would he just be like, what's the point now?
Millwall, it's happening. Leif Davis making an overlap.
Yeah.
Brady's in the hole. It's all going to happen. But that will. We spoke about that a little bit, and that will be. Hopefully, we're hoping that will happen in terms of we'll already be promoted before the last game. But that will be interesting as well. Let's see if we play some of these players. But and if we let the shackles off and people like Kilkenny might come in, we don't know. It'll be exciting. It'll be nice to have that luxury, mate. But let's not worry about that yet. Let's enjoy the end of the season and hopefully get the job done.
How quickly, if we get a win and promotion is confirmed, sooner rather than later. Of course, we can't do it on this game, but how quickly will your celebrations die down and you'll be worrying about next season? Because for me, because first time we got promoted, it was fearless because we didn't know what to expect. Half of us expected relegation to happen in the Premier League, but this time, I don't know. I think I'll be quickly sort of like Eddie Howe was. like worrying very
Yeah.
soon after the celebrations.
It probably feel a little bit more business-like because we all know that we need the money.
Yeah.
And what it will do is it will mean that as a football club, we're all right for the next few years, no matter what happens next season.
Yeah.
That's the truth of it. So, will there be elation? Yes. Will that elation? I don't know. I don't really want to think about next season until next season.
No.
I agree.
I just think just turn it off and just think, I mean, like we remit, done, we're up, and then go from there, because we don't know what the ideas are going to be going forward in terms of transfer policy and things. Because when you look at some of the players even that we signed in January, I wouldn't necessarily think those players as the Premier League, the players that we'd sign if we were in the Premier League.
They were players to get us over the line, hopefully.
Yeah.
And we've only really used Nat Phillips, Campbell, a little bit, Laird recently. But yeah, I agree with Tigz. I love all these kind of dissection-y shows because I need that, because after the game, I'm just living in the moment. And I think, you've got to do that a little bit. We've got to enjoy hopefully getting over the line. And I'll certainly do that, mate.
So, Fulham fans, let us know what you think in the comments. If you're coming down to Bournemouth tomorrow, have a very safe journey. At the top of the screen is a card where you can watch our away day fans guide. If you're thinking of having some food or a drink or two before the game, click that, because that will certainly tell you where to go. There's a number of away friendly pubs, some of which the club supporters will probably direct you to when you get off the coach, and there's others in Southbourne and a few nearer to the stadium as well. Make sure you check that out too. Well, the final thing to do, gentlemen, is predictions.
Oh, God, this is a really hard one, isn't it? Really hard one, because I can't predict us to lose.
Well, look, I'm going to give you a bit of time, because I'll just remind you of the league table. It's on screen now. As you can see, Fulham there, look, promoted, currently on 86 points, 4 games to go. I mean, the amount of goals they've scored, 98. Unbelievable effort from them. Alexander Mitrovic has got a huge percentage of those, 4/10, 2/5.
Crazy.
Ridiculous. We are 9 points behind in their last 5 games. They've secured 9 points. In our last 5, it's 8 points. So look, for us to be up there is pretty good, but will we be able to close the gap? Firstly, I'm going to come to Tigz. As a plane goes past at the Pear at Parley, looks like a Ryanair flight from Malaga coming in. Hope you all had a good holiday. What's it to be?
I'm going to go with a feisty 1-0 to Bournemouth.
Whoa!
Extremely feisty 1-0 to Bournemouth.
Like Watford
like
season?
like that Watford game last season. This will be drummed into the players that it's season defining. Whatever we want from the end of this season, we can make it happen against Fulham.
Agreed.
All right then, Tom.
Similarly, but I'm going to go 2-1 to Bournemouth. Yeah, I think we'll nick it, but I do think they'll get a goal. Yeah, I agree with what Tigz said. I think it's one of them games. They have got promotion. I think Scott will go. If you go and beat Fulham, it's there. It's there for you. You can tick it off. So I think we're in a good place after the weekend, and I think we'll nick it.
I think 4 points from the next 2 games will be fine, and I think it would probably happen that we'll get a draw against Fulham, and then a win against Swansea. Nottingham Forest, they've got to go to Peterborough,
And then Fulham.
and then Fulham.
Would you take a draw, Tigz, against Fulham?
Yeah, I would, to be honest, because that still puts us clear.
Yeah, it's still such a tough fixture as well.
Yeah,
All right.
Yeah, it's still playing Forest coming up as well.
Yeah, and up the Peterborough, by the way, because they're still fighting.
Up
You're
the
still fighting to stay up. Right?
You know
You've got
what,
to get
that's-
something against Forest.
That's a really good shout. Up the posh.
Sorry about taking Dembele.
Thank you so much for your company. It should be a quality game. Remember that you can leave your predictions in the comments below. We'll read every single one. And look forward to seeing you at Dean Court. Tigz is going to be the man on the cam outside the 1910 after the game. Really loving the new faces that are coming on.
Yeah, it's
All
great.
it is Tigz and a microphone. I'm standing film. Honestly, just get involved. Even if it's a quick 1 minute sound bite, if that's all you've got to say, that's all you've got to say. But it's lovely having new people on. And of course, the matchday vlog on Sunday morning first thing. Hopefully it'll be all smiles, eh? Thanks for watching. From myself, Sam Davis.
From me, Tom Jordan.
From Tigz.
Up the Ches. See you in the next one. You can't help yourself.
Oh, I love it.